Hello and welcome back to City Skylines. Ladies and gentlemen, today is part 27 of our vanilla Let's Play. This, of course, is the grand city of vanilla, where things are going pretty darn well indeed. Last time, we went ahead and built ourselves another one of the monuments. We built the medical center, and if I do say so myself, I think the medical center fits in here rather nicely. Today, I would like to go ahead and get another one of the monuments. I believe we still have the Hadron Collider and the Space Elevator to place into vanilla. We could maybe look into getting both of those, but we shall see. So I'm thinking first up is going to be the Hadron Collider, because it does require us to build the Colossal Order offices, and I would like to get some taller buildings into the city here. So the Colossal Order offices, whilst a tall building, is also a bit of a wide building. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to place. I'm actually feeling like somewhere over here might be an alright spot for it. It actually would fit in there if I didn't have the medical center, which kind of has me thinking that maybe over here would be a better spot, but no, there's definitely not the space there. Definitely not the space there either. It looks like I might very well have to design a custom space for this thing, as opposed to just sliding it into the city, well, somewhere. So I guess we'll get to doing that. It is going to have to be somewhere in the middle of the city, though. It can't just be somewhere on the outside of the city, because it's too tall of a building to put out there. So I think what I'll do is I'll look at my district, and I think the Umber district might be a pretty good candidate for this particular building. So let me come in here and let me just D-zone all of that space just there. I'm also going to move this fire station, which I can actually put here right along the train line. So I think that could be a pretty good spot for that. So we'll just throw it in there. Yeah, that looks okay. And I'm also going to bulldoze this road, because we are going to need a lot of space to play with here. Now, this will actually fit quite central on this section of avenue. Will it fit central in here? Yes, it will. Okay. So if I could get this to... sit a little bit... If I could do that with the road here, that would put the building nice and central. Unfortunately, that's not going to be an option. At least, I don't think it's going to be an option. What I will do very... Oh, no, this is tricky. This is going to be tricky. Let me bulldoze that for a second. I want to get this perfect. I absolutely want to get this perfect. Now, unfortunately, I can't do that. What I'm going to have to do is bulldoze that road as well. And I need to go like that, I think. I think that's where the road would need to be. So if I did that, and then I grab the Colossal Order offices and throw them, I guess, there? Sure. Wait, what am I... Hold on. I don't think I need to do that. Hold on. If I was to do that, then bring a road across there, that will let me place them in the middle of that space. That is central, because I can do a road there as well. And yeah, that's actually perfect. Okay, no problem. That's sorted. That was surprisingly easy. Let's get some one-way roads going there, just so this area kind of isn't horrendous. Let's have those roads go to the right and out there. Now, what way would this go? If they could, I guess they'd kind of go to the right. I don't know what way this would go. Maybe a one-way road that goes straight through there, and a one-way road that comes back this way. So that one would go around like that, and this one would go like that. I guess that's okay. That sort of lets traffic flow around that area without too much trouble, which is exactly what we want. I would also like to just rezone that area so that it will grow up again, and I think that's pretty good. That is actually a really nice looking building. I've never really appreciated just how nice the Colossal Order offices happen to be. I do think I would like to turn it around, though, to face that way, because I'm gonna be honest, it's It's mostly for the thumbnail of this video, which I'm going to take the screenshot for right now. So let's just very quickly hit F10, which is the Fraps hotkey for taking a screenshot. And there we go. That's the thumbnail of this video sorted. So with that done, that's pretty good. We do need to do some decorations around this building, obviously. So let's just go in here with some trees, which I think is going to be the easiest way to do this. We're going to sort of space them out a bit like that, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then at the front here, let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the same at the back with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. That's pretty good. That's simple, effective, and does what it needs to do. We have another nice tall building there in the city, actually overlooking the industrial area, which I'm considering getting rid of, but I'm probably not going to bother changing this industrial zone until we have the mods enabled for this series. So once Vanilla with Sprinkles comes around, we can expand the industrial area. Or not expand it, we can move this industrial area. Franklin Heights can up and leave and go somewhere else, and this can become a bit of a retail park or something like that. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something. Now, what else do we need for the Hadron Collider? We need the Posh Mall. Interestingly, and this is something that's always annoyed me, interestingly, people in Northern Ireland like to call it the... And I wish I was joking. I wish I was joking because I hate this. Some people pronounce it mal, as in, I believe, the Spanish word for bad. I wish I was joking, but I'm serious. Like, my granddad calls it a mal, and I don't know why. It's apparently like a Northern Irish thing, and it's dumb because the word ball is spelt the same way. But you don't say ball. You don't go, we're gonna go play football. Oh wow, that sounds horrendous. It's ball, and it's the mall. Like, if you've watched any piece of American media, you know, let's go to the mall today. I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird, but that's kind of Northern Ireland for you, I guess. Now this opera house here, this might be a good place for a posh mall. If I put the mall like there? No, not really. I would kind of like the mall to be there, though. Just not necessarily like that, because I think it looks a little bit naff. What if I move it to, like, the side by 1? I mean, it looks okay. It's just... It's in such a weird place. I feel like this needs to be, like, over here. I feel like that space would be good for it. Or one of these spaces here. I can't get it in there because there's obviously, well, not the space. But... I kind of want the posh Mal, obviously, to go in here somewhere. I don't know. I need to do something with this space, but I don't think I can do much with this space other than just zone it. So maybe the mall could go in here. Maybe if I changed up this district a little bit, we could have the posh mall in Rushport. Because it looks like it might go central. It's difficult to say. No, it won't. No, I don't like buildings that don't go central. It always annoys me because they're so difficult to place. And it's such a modern building that I can't just slap it anywhere. Now, it would... Or would it? No, it wouldn't fit in there. That road's too... Oh, for God's sake. The buildings are so awkwardly sized in this game. They really are. They always have been as well. It's not like this is news to me. Like, I've always known that they're awkwardly sized. I'll tell you what doesn't the Hadron Collider, it will deal with education. Right. I'm getting rid of the high school. Yes, I'm getting rid of the high school. No, I thought that was the high school that I spent a lot of time moving. It was this one. This high school's going away, and it's being replaced with a mall, which is a very interesting sentence. This already exists. Where did I just place it? It's over here, isn't it? Yeah. So let's move you into that big ol' empty space. So that is where the posh mall is going to live. And it doesn't look so bad in there. It kind of looks alright. It's an interesting looking building. I would also like to go ahead then and do a pathway down to there. Just like that. And can I also get some little trees in here? Just to sort of line the train tracks with some nice dense trees to sort of hide it. Because it is a posh mall. Sorry, mall. And, oh, everyone, you watching this, you're just cringing every time I say mall, aren't you? Don't worry, I know that feeling. But I feel having those trees there can nicely, you know, hide the train tracks a little bit and make the area look a bit nicer, so I kind of want those in there. I kind of want a little tree in there as well. Yeah, that looks okay. What else do we need? We need the Grand Library. I need to stop rolling my R's. Now this building... This one could actually go up by the Opera House. Because... that's pretty close to the university. Oh, what if we put a super modern building in here? That's something I'm curious about. Because if we put a super... oh, it won't fit central. Or will it? No, it will. It totally would fit central. I'm just thinking, if we put like a super modern building in there, it could look really interesting because it would just be that contrast, you know? It would be that like, hey, this is a really old district and look at that, super modern building. Which could totally go down there. Okay, I'm getting rid of this hospital again. This might be a bad idea. This might look terrible. But I kind of like the idea that somehow someone managed to get permission to build a super modern library in like the old district. So this might look dumb, but I'm hoping it won't. Let's give this a shot then. So let's just bulldoze all of you. Oh, it's weird having empty spaces in the city like that. Especially parts of the city that I built so long ago. But the super modern library can kind of go in there. And that's basically what it's going to look like. It's going to be right there. I kind of feel like pulling it away from the road a little bit, though. So if I move it back to there, what I want to do is get a section of road in there, like, I guess that would be fine. And then just turn the building around so it sits there instead. So it's not right against this area. And this area now has a really weird series of roads going around it. Which I guess I could turn into a one-way series of roads. I guess. Let's do one way going that way and that way. Then that way. Then that way and that way. So to get over here, traffic sort of has to go in front of the library. But that is sort of just a little one-way section for traffic to flow, I guess. It's weird, I know, but... I actually do legitimately kind of like the look of this sort of super, well, it's not super modern. This actually looks like something that, to be honest, would have been built like, well, it wouldn't not everywhere, but in Northern Ireland, there's a lot of buildings you look at, and there's a bank in my town you look at and go, oh my god, that building was built in the 70s. It's a horrendous looking concrete building. This looks like the kind of building that would have been built like, to me, it was either built really recently or it was built at the end of like the 80s or something in an attempt to make something that's kind of modern looking. I don't know. I like the look of it anyway. I think it works here. We can imagine it was some old building that was built here and the locals don't like it. I don't know. It's a nice enough building anyway. Let's get a pathway just there. Let's connect one on the other side too. And let's sort of connect down like this as well. So we can get some nice little details in here. It might have actually been nicer to run a pathway here instead. But that's okay. I think it works. I think we're okay. Let's get ourselves just a few trees in here as well. Obviously got to nicely detail the entire area. So a few trees there. And a few trees just... over here as well. That looks okay. Then I think some bushes just in here. I don't think we need much more. Just a few bushes to go in here and detail the area to make it look all nice and fancy and looked after. So it's not a completely miserable section of the city. I mean, like I said, the locals aren't going to like it. The locals are very keen on keeping the old European-style architecture. Then some young, hip architect came in and was like, yo, I've got a really swanky idea for a building. And the locals were like, oh, do you? Well, let's hear it, lol. Then he gave the idea to, you know, some meeting somewhere, and the council of the area was like, actually, you know what, it's not so bad. And the locals were like, lol, what? What am I even saying? The locals are like, lol, what? And then this building got built. That's how that's how this came about, in case you were curious. That looks alright, I guess. Kind of works. I guess. What was that? What even was that story? What was that? What was that? That's why. That's why I shouldn't. That's why I shouldn't be left to my own devices to do YouTube, isn't it? Because I have these random moments of just like, oh god, I can't. I'm having a weird day, guys. I'm having a really weird day. I said the word random and my brain was just reminded of like the lol totes random thing that was all over the internet years ago. That nature of you had to be super random online. Oh man, I'm having a weird day. I'm a little bit ill still. I had some lovely comments on like the last episode, and someone tweeted me. I think it was comments or tweets, one or the other. Someone was like, "You're sounding better," and I felt better. But having got back from traveling, I've had this sort of long brewing cold coming on, and it's now in full force. Well, almost full force. And I'm not necessarily feeling 100% at the moment. I have a cold that is really annoying me because it's not like a cold that is making me incapable of working. It's just making my throat a little bit sore, and it's just weird. I don't feel good, you know? I don't feel bad enough that I can take time off. Like, I never really take time off anyway, but it's just annoying. That's all it is. Now we need the Theatre of Wonders. That's a beautiful name. What the heck is the Theatre of Wonder? It's this, isn't it? Yes, it is. I feel like this should go down by the coast. I feel like the Theatre of Wonders should be by the coast. And I'm kind of feeling like I want it to go here. I can't... Oh, what about over here, actually? Sort of by the cliff. Well, I feel like here. I feel like if I bring the terrain out a little bit here, which this is a risky move, this bit, because this might mess things up horrendously, but we'll see. We will see. Now what we're gonna do is grab the terrain at that height and just bring it out. Now that's about as far as we can go without getting rid of the soil. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna lower the terrain over here and get myself as much soil as I can possibly get. So we'll grab it from just there. And we'll head over here again, grab that height of terrain, and bring out some land. Now, we're not going to need all of the land. Definitely not going to need all of it. But we are going to need just a little bit more than that, just to make sure that I can make this the way I want to make it. So bring that cliff in just a little bit. Grab this height of terrain and come out like that. That should probably be enough. So the Theatre of Wonders isn't necessarily a giant building. But I want to have a nice area for it to sit. So let's do a little one-way road like that. Maybe more like that. Or that. Let's go that. Let's put the... cannot build on water. Yeah, I guess we are going to need to let the water readjust. This is going to flood my city. Unfortunately. That is a flood. That is a pretty serious flood. Fortunately, not going to flood all of my city because this is a lower area of land. So it's going to flood pretty much the entire tourism area. Bit of a problem, to be honest, but we'll deal with it. Cannot build on water. So this thing... Oh, there was a spot there where I could build it, interestingly. I think there is still water flowing over the road, so that's possibly why. I feel like there was totally a spot where I could place this a second ago. That was kind of weird. Cannot build on water. Oh, it's because this whole thing is still flooded. I don't think there's anywhere down here where water can just settle. Oh, no, maybe there is. Oh dear. Well, that looks particularly bad. Oh wow, that's a view. That is a view. I've never just watched areas flood like this. Ever. I've never just sat and watched an area in City Skylines flood. It's very strange. So I can place it there, but I can't place it there. So I guess I need to extend the land a little bit. All right, well, let's do that. Let's bring this this terrain in a little bit more. And we'll go and raise the height to there. And that is going to cause some flooding issues once again. But I can place the Theater of Wonders right there. Which I think looks beautiful. I love the placement. Is this area still flooded? Yeah, it is. Well, we'll deal with that eventually. I don't think anywhere else is flooded, so we're fine. But what I want to do is get myself a little section of like 90 degree road like that. Then rotate it. And do... Now that's a straight connection there. Unfortunately, it doesn't really want me to do that. So let's do sort of just a little curve like that, I guess. I guess that's okay. Not really what I wanted, though. But that'll do. That's fine. Let's do a little straight section like that. And a curve like that. And straight in there. Okay. So that seems fine to me. I'm not a big fan of this little bit of curve here, but I guess we're going to be stuck with it. Now we need to try and tidy up the terrain a little bit here. So let's just bring the height... Oh, no, this building doesn't actually conform to the terrain. The terrain conforms to it. Now, that's good. That is very good news, because that's exactly what I want. Let's just try and have... Oh, should I zone in that area? I could probably get some parks in there, couldn't I? I could get, like, the giant park in there. Well, almost. Would have been nice to get that in front of the theater itself, but I could get... No, I can't get a botanical garden there either. What have we got in here that I could place in this space? Anything at all? I mean, I've still got to place the stadium. We have a casino, which I think would be a little bit much for this area. We have the fantastic fountain, which I guess looks kind of okay. Little bit of a weird spot for it, though. I don't know, it just seems a bit weird there. I also feel like the land around this needs to be a bit higher. Let's just bring the land up a bit so I can at least get a path around this thing. So bring the land up like that. To about that point. Okay. So that's fine. Let's then do a... Can I get a path going around this? That's going to be the question. So this can't be built on water. That's fine. The water is away. So that'll go to that point. And that'll go to... that point, I guess? It's not quite perfect, but I think that's alright. We'll go to there and do that. And I think that's alright. So that seems pretty good. That gives us a nice pathway around this building, which is exactly what I want. So I need to bring the terrain in a little bit. I think the terrain on this side should be extended a bit. So bring it over like that. And that seems fine. We'll kind of lower it to about that point. No, that's going weird. That's definitely going weird. Come on, work with me, cities. Work with me, cities. I'm trying to make something beautiful here. Trying to make something beautiful, and you're just not cooperating. What you're doing, you're just not cooperating with me. Now that is kind of okay. No, it's being weird. Let's get this perfect, and then we'll continue with the construction job. This is getting a little bit tedious. Let's fast forward until I've actually got this done. So this is what I kind of wanted for the Theater of Wonders. It's not necessarily perfect, and as I was setting up this camera angle, I actually had an idea that I think might be better for it, but I'm actually going to hold off on that idea until after we have the mods enabled. I know I keep saying I've got all these ideas for after the mods are enabled, but basically I would put the theater itself on sort of a little landmass of its own and have a couple of bridges going over to it and then back, as opposed to just having it be this bit of land sticking out from everything else. In the meantime, I would absolutely like to get a couple of parks in here. Unfortunately, we're sort of stuck with playgrounds. This thing isn't really the right size to go in here. This thing is not really the right size either. I could do something custom, which is probably what I'm going to have to do. So from this corner here, let's turn off snapping and just run a pathway through this area up to that corner. And then let's also have it sort of branch off and go to that corner as well. Now, I want this to maintain the curve that it had there, because annoyingly that curve sort of went away. And then we'll have that curve up to about there. That's a bit better. We could have one path go up like that as well, which I don't think really hurts it too much. So that seems pretty good to me. Let's, no, you know what? We are going to need some way to, we're going to need some way to connect electricity to that. So maybe getting rid of those is a good idea. Then going and placing in one of these guys. Because if I put that in there, that bridges the gap with electricity. And I can still do a park in here. I can still connect paths to these corners and all that stuff and have them connect out like that. And have one sort of connect out like that as well. So we can still have this this park idea. It's just a little bit different to how I'd necessarily planned on doing it, but that looks okay. I think once I get some other stuff in there, that's going to look a little bit better. Some plazas would be nice as well, but I don't think I'm going to get them in there because they're a little bit big, which is unfortunate, but well, that's just the way it's going to have to work. So we'll deal with that, and let's also just run a path up to there as well. Yeah, that seems fine. Once the grass grows in this area as well, it's going to look a little bit better. I think what I'd like to do is actually get a couple of these smaller oak trees just lining the theater itself out here. So just get a bunch of these around here, like that. And the same at the back as well. And then down the other side too. Just to nicely decorate it and make it look, you know, like this area is actually looked after and not just a barren piece of brown land, which it is at the moment. Which is unfortunate, but it'll get there. The grass will grow, it'll look beautiful, and it'll work. I actually, you know, that bit of sticky out land, that bit of sticky out land, which by the way is the technical term, it's growing on me. It is definitely growing on me. Probably still going to change it, but it's okay. It's not that bad. Now, something I think I would like to do is I'm going to throw a bus stop there, and I'm going to throw a bus stop just up there as well. So that if people want to, they can actually, you know, get off the bus and go to the Theater of Wonders. I'm actually going to get rid of that bus stop because it's a little bit ugly up there. Having a bus stop here is fine because we have this path straight through to the theater itself. So that's not so bad. Now let's go ahead and get some trees along here. I think maybe lining this entire road might be a good idea. So let's do that. I'm gonna be honest, this looks a little bit overgrown and I don't really know if I like it. I feel like this area just needs plazas. I feel like it needs pathways and plazas and not anywhere near as many trees as I've put down here. Now this, although simpler, I think looks a lot better. I like the bushes, I like the kind of lack of trees, I like the open space. I think it looks much, much better and I'm much happier with it. So this is the design we're going to go for the Theater of Wonders. And the good news is that with that done, we can get the Hadron Collider. It is $800,000 and is going to be very interesting to have here in the city. It would be interesting to maybe add to, near the university, but I feel like the Hadron Collider should probably be over towards this area here with the good old fusion power plant. The problem is, it's not all that much space. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go in, I'm going to bulldoze all of the crematoriums here. I'm going to bulldoze all of these buildings, including the old incinerators there. And this area is going to need to have a road sort of running down the middle there. So I'm pretty sure that road was one way that way, wasn't it? Well, that kind of makes things a bit tricky, because all of these roads were sort of supposed to filter through to here, which is an issue. So I think what we'll do instead is we're going to have this road sort of flip around that way. We're going to have this be a two-way road, because that's a thing we can do. Yeah, and then these roads sort of filter out rather than anything else. Now, this road should be able to go there without too much trouble, right? No. Why can't it do that? Can it go there? No. Because it can't get to there either. Okay. Well, what if I had that stop stay there? Then I just have this one-way road sort of go just into a two-way road? Why not? So that stops there. That stop needs to go away. That stop would need to go to that side of the road. Then I guess that stop should probably be on that side of the road. No, that just gets a bit weird. Let's have you go there then. And have this stop over there. Have that stop in there? Still very strange. Still a very strange series of roads, but that's fine. Let's just get ourselves the Hadron Collider in here. We'll just plop it in that space. It's a nice big building opposite the fusion plant there. I may have just minimized my game. That was a bit of a mistake. But I think it looks okay. I really do. I think it looks pretty decent in that spot. I would like to, of course, just get a nice pathway going around the whole thing there. Then get rid of some of the zoning right next to it. Just like that, so we have some free space around it. And I like it. I really do. I do realize if I really wanted to, I could do this. Right? If I do this, we can actually get some zoning. A couple of roads that, one, look like they're sort of there for that building, but two, I can actually put some buildings in those. And what I'm thinking I might actually do is put the crematoriums back on those. Because the crematoriums we had, I mean, they were quite important. We kind of needed them. So getting those back in there is probably not going to be a bad thing. Then I could also put the incineration plants on those roads as well. Then I can get more crematoriums back here behind the incineration plants, which is great news. So that seems pretty good. We are going to need more incineration plants. I did get rid of like 2 of them. So throwing another one in there seems like a good plan, and throwing one in there seems like a good plan as well. And then just throwing a pathway in there and in there, and then maybe across like that and across like that. And that seems pretty good. I like it. I like it. That's hopefully going to build up kind of nicely. Maybe I will just de-zone that entire strip there. Let's just de-zone that entire bit, and maybe just add another incineration plant in there and in there. And then I can get a few more crematoriums as well, which, again, we're going to need. They're kind of important. I'm going to leave some gaps between them, though, except for those 2 in the middle, because that way I can go ahead and add some... Oh, no, that doesn't really want to connect. I can add some pathways between all of those, just like that, which I think looks pretty decent. Now, we should have a whole bunch of buildings across the entire city that are upgrading. It seems to mostly be industrial buildings, which is fine. What is that? That's an office building. Okay. Oh, no, offices are upgrading as well. I totally didn't realize that the offices would have... is that Is that a Star Wars reference? Or is that just supposed... Because that's 80, and 8080 is... Okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting. It's also really cool seeing all of the industrial not the industrial buildings, not the commercial buildings, the office buildings upgrading across the city. That is real nice. I also realize you guys should probably not be European buildings. So let's just fix that real quick. There we go. So we've got some nice tall buildings popping up around the city. You guys need bulldozed. And I think that looks pretty good. I really do. I really think that looks pretty good. Now, this area here obviously needs a bit of work. That's going to take some time, but I'm super happy with how that's turned out. It unfortunately doesn't have a power connection, though. So what I'm thinking I might do is, even if I don't use it, if I was to throw a metro station just there, does that bridge the gap? Yes, it does. Not that I'm necessarily going to use that metro station. In fact, I'm probably going to throw another one over there just for symmetry. But that way we bridge the gap really nicely, which is beautiful news. So I'm kind of okay with that. What I'm thinking I might do, though, is I'm gonna connect there, and I'm gonna connect there, then there, and there, and the purple line can have a stop up there. I think that's okay. Then the yellow line can have a stop up there. Yeah. It's a bit weird. Actually, no, that was supposed to take one of the yellow line stops, wasn't it? So if I get rid of you and take a yellow... No, it's not really going to let me. Okay, we're going to add a stop to there. Then I guess we'll sort of remove... No, that's fine. The trains are doing weird things, but that's fine. It's sort of working, I guess. It's a bit of a weird thing, but at least these stations are going to have people using them occasionally, which is better than no one ever using them at all. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually really pleased with how this area has turned out. We have a bunch of offices across the city upgrading because of the Hadron Collider. And the next building we need to get is the space elevator, which is going to help with tourism, and that gives us an excuse to go ahead and finish off this little space over here, which I'm super excited about doing. So yeah, with that in mind, thank you kind of for watching. This has been Cities Skylines in the Vanilla Let's Play Part 27, and I shall see you next time. Bye-bye!